For children and lazy comedians alike, Rainbow was the flag bearer for kids' TV in the analogue era. What's less remembered, though just as familiar a presence, was its cheaper cousin, Allsorts. Initially a slot filler in Rainbow's off-season, Allsorts, later rebranded as Gigglish Allsorts, in a pun about licorice, aired over 200 episodes during an 8-year run from 1987, in the genre of children's television best categorised as grown men in dungarees. With a cheek that's almost admirable, its opening theme is one of the most egregious pieces of musical theft ever committed. The same composer did a new theme for Corrie once too. Allsorts had a fluctuating cast, with the only consistent performers a pair of lads named Jiffy and Bonzo. They were joined in the first 3 years by a girl called Natty, and Spike the dog, played by a human woman on her hands and knees, reminiscent of that Channel 4 documentary about men who get stonkers from playing fetch. As a child, I was confused that the character called Bonzo wasn't the dog. In Series 4 she'd ditch the costume and appear as herself, Virginia, presumably saying nothing about all those times the others had picked up her turds from the garden. But we're going to focus on the golden years, with its classic trio, the childlike Jiffy, house mother JJ, who went on to marry into the Dingles in Emmerdale, and Bonzo, who your gran might describe as very neat, loves his mother, just hasn't settled down yet.
If I've tidied that bathroom up once this week, I've tidied it 100 times.
It's unclear what the three's relationship is, though one story has a relative coming to stay, whom they all call Auntie. Are they siblings? Cousins? Let's begin with an episode which touches on bad housemates, and the laziness of one Jiffy.
I mean, he's so thoughtless, he's always leaving things lying around the place, never putting them away.
Never makes us our tea.
Never does the shopping. And another thing, he only does his own washing up after tea.
Never gives your pen back when he borrows it.
Plus he's a man in his 30s in a sideways baseball cap and earring.
If I pick some flowers, it'll brighten up the room and maybe they'll brighten up at the same time. Yeah! 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 Oh, yes.
He's ruined our garden.
No, but
How could you be so selfish, Jiffy? That garden was lovely. You've ruined it.
I thought...
No, you don't think. You only think of yourself.
He's sick of them, they're sick of him. There's only one recourse.
Right, well, if that's the way you feel, perhaps it's better if I leave home altogether.
That suits us fine.
Right.
Oi, what's all the palaver about?
Oh yeah, right, I forgot to mention, they've got another roommate who's a cardboard box. Kids' TV in this era went hard on imbuing inanimate objects with life. The Raggy Dolls, Poddington Peas, the Shoe People, Budgie the Little Helicopter, which was created by Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. Writers loved looking around a room and seeing a bin or a lamp and going, stick some eyes on it, we'll get 150 episodes out of that. In the Allsorts world, it's boxes that are alive. And let's skip back to her introduction.
Picture of a box wearing a bowler hat? How strange. Wonder whose stuff this is.
It's mine, stupid! And that's a photo of my big brother, so just watch it.
Talking box?
Yeah!
No!
Yeah! And what's wrong with the talking box, eh?
That's a very clever trick, Bonzo. How do you do
Stop
it?
it! Stop it, you nosy boots!
Sorry?
Box also gets a frankly dreadful introductory song.
like a box.
She looks like a box.
I feel like a box.
She feels like a box.
I'm box.
Hi, box. We're Bonzo, Jiffy, and Nosy.
I'm box.
Jiffy, Bonzo, Spike, Box. Sounds like the local pill dealer reeling off his menu. Anyway, back to Jiffy running away.
I'm going, I'm leaving. I'm not staying with those two a second longer. I'm off out of here. You'll never ever see me again, ever.
Bye.
As evidenced by Box's debut, this is a musical show, filled with songs which are all performed live, and shall we say, less polished than those of Rod, Jane and Freddie, or of the drunk staggering back from the pub down the alley behind your house, shaking poos out of his trouser legs while puking through the lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody.
I'll run away from home, I will. I'll run away from here. You won't see me at tea times, I'll completely disappear.
You might as well get out of town. We've had about enough of you, and if you feel the same way too, then bye-bye, Jiffy, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I'll go and live somewhere else where people make me feel at home. Huh. I'll run away from home.
It seems like it's going to be an episode about that thing all kids do at some point, throwing a Twix and a Teddy into a bag and running away from home for 10 minutes. Perhaps to explain why young viewers shouldn't do that. But Box just wants a story.
What story?
Oh, the one in me, mate. Tell me a story for me, as long or as short or as daft as can be.
You sound like my patrons. More than a freakish aberration, this is a universe where all boxes are self-aware, with endless nightmare implications. Skips and recycling bins piled with wet rotting cardboard, all screaming. Amazon warehouses with a cursed choir of 10,000 box voices, begging for death, or at least to not have to ride next to the driver's piss bottle. This is the tale of a haughty champagne box, who's too up her own arse to talk to the others.
What are you on about? Laughed Benny the Baked Bean Box. We're all the same.
So a box's personality is dependent on its content. A condom box is horny. Blu-ray sets for The Wire always calling people an MF, or even a ruddy MF. Regardless, this story is penned by a madman.
Enid's Easter eggs hadn't been unpacked last Easter, and as the sell-by date was a long way off, the warehouseman had left Enid where she was. The other boxes all liked her as she was a jolly old box. I want to be with boxes of my own kind, and with a bit of luck I very soon will be.
Literally the thing I said as a grim joke about a children's show actually happened.
Well, you've guessed it. He picked Sharon up and flattened her. She'd never imagined that her new home would be the recycling plant at the town rubbish tip.
And now Jiffy's been gone for 2 days, most likely sold into slavery, though they're not fussed.
JJ, put the kettle on, we'll all have tea.
Oh no, here he is,
Oh, hello, Jiffy.
Hi, JJ.
with another song.
I've come back home to live with you and home again once more.
We didn't like it without you, in fact it was a bore. There really isn't any place like home. Our home!
From the garden.
Jiffy!
This casual half-arsing of a plot is indicative of Allsorts, which is the original show about nothing. Though they're just 15 minutes apiece, every episode feels like it's looking for ways to fill time, and half the dialogue's like they realised they were a page short 5 minutes before shooting.
My mouth is not shut off. Not once. Not never. No how. No way. No.
Buttons.
Yeah, scissors.
Scissors.
Scissors! Lettuce.
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 Scissors.
Scissors. Scissors!
Scissors!
Some stuff's like those videos you see, of a middle-aged Scotsman wrecked on spice and rapping under a bridge, or warm-up games for your improv group.
to see if the man with the could be found, but the man with the wasn't there. But the man with the So we looked around the ground, we looked around the floor, and then we heard a sound of someone flying through the air. Yeah! Hey.
Most glaring is an episode entitled Tea Time. This is from the earlier years, where Bonzo resembles a harangued student teacher, and they live in more of a TV studio than a house, with the woman who used to be a dog. And it seems like they're teaching kids about sharing.
Cut here.
That makes it into 4 pieces, that's quarters.
And counting.
2, 3. All we need are 3 chairs.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
What did you do that for?
He said all we wanted 3 cheers.
Not 3 cheers, 3 chairs.
But then she just starts making sandwiches.
I've got lettuce and pickle.
This is literally a woman messily making sandwiches for ages. That said, do it on YouTube today and she'd be pulling in 7 figures. Especially if she didn't have shoes on.
I think I'll put a bit of lettuce on that as well, just to make it extra special and delicious. There's something very special about having sandwiches. It reminds me of birthday parties and picnics in the park. And days out.
Yeah, or eating alone at your desk for the 5,000th meal in a row, spilling crumbs down your manky jogging bottoms, but knowing it doesn't matter because you never see anyone anyway. And even if you did, when they asked what you'd been up to, you'd have to explain, just the usual, scouring through clips of Bobby Davro for a YouTube video that will get less hits than one titled, Smelly Old Man Does Fart in Library, brackets, his old butt stinks, close brackets, and explaining, no, you haven't been out lately, but don't pull back the curtains, mate, it hurts my eyes.
Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating a Christmas pie.
Christmas pie? Careful, the commies and their so-called mints will have you deported back to Cuba.
What a good boy am I?
Hello. I'm going to do an experiment on Bonzo.
Not going to turn him into a dog, are you?
You are? Have a little bite of that?
It's much harder to chew. Ooh.
What's your opinion on that?
Oh, that's all soft and squidgy.
Funny, this exact thing happened to me once. I don't usually get invited to parties and I had thought they didn't like me. But we played this fun game where they sat me down and blindfolded me. And it was just like this.
Open it up.
Oh, that's salty.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Really salty. And warm.
Quite slippery on the tongue, that.
Very nice.
I like
tasty.
it in sandwiches myself.
Do you?
It does go down better. But like Mark Allman said at the hospital,
Wish I hadn't eaten so many sandwiches.
really original Millard, mate. Tainting innocent clips of old kids shows with puerile smut. Well, yeah.
I'm a fox and I'm proud of me. Things can go in and out of me. I'm as broad as I'm wide. Oh, I'm pleased when there's plenty of things inside.
Things can go in and out of it.
It's a thrill, it's a joy.
Be it as small as a jewel box.
All bigger than a bread bin. Take it from me. Once you go down that path, you see filth everywhere you look.
Right. When you and Bonzo are in the garden planting your seeds, I am going to make a delicious Jiffy pie. What do you mean, poo? I love it!
I want to go back to before I made everything all dirty.
Well, if she tries to kiss me, she'll get a flap in her mouth.
And what's Jiffy doing outside?
Hammering his triangles.
He's at that awkward age. Very occasionally they did venture out of the house, like in a double episode about a camping trip.
Oh, I've got everything I need. Toothbrush, shades. Yo, cool, huh?
Running out the clock again, yeah?
Ging gang, gooly 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 watcher.
Ging gang goo, ging gang goo, ging gang gooly 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 watcher, ging gang goo, ging gang goo.
Hey la, hey la Shayla, hey la Shayla, hey la you. Hey la Shayla, hey la Shayla, hey la.
Shallow, 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 oompa, ging gang, gooly, 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 gooly.
But we do learn more about the biology of Box, using her as an actual container.
We'll ask Box if we can put some of this stuff in her, and then there'll be lots more room for everything else.
Good idea, let's go and ask her.
Yes.
And revealing TARDIS-like qualities.
No, no!
What's this? What has she got? She hasn't taken the television.
Ah! That's mine!
This opens up yet more questions. Can they dispose of their rubbish in her? Could you hide a body?
Don't you call me Dumbo, Clothhead!
Then there's another song which wouldn't get you asked back if you did it on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Out in a field, out in a tent, there are things to do, there are things to see, till we fall asleep under the moon, till the sun comes up like a yellow balloon.
Jiffy clearly doesn't know the words, reading off a sheet of paper secreted on the table, before just fumbling through.
Food tastes good in the country, we'll sit by the fire, under the stars eating crisps and peanut and chocolate bars.
When you're in the country.
Country more like.
But miserable Box hates the boring old countryside, bemoaning its lack of ice cream vans, suggesting boxes have a digestive system, and ergo, a urethra and anus.
I spy with my little eye something beginning with B.
Is it?
Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough.
We're going to camp out in a tent underneath the stars. We're going to snuggle into sleeping bags underneath the stars.
If the toilet was occupied, and one of them had diarrhea, and there was no other receptacle, do you think? Oh, and like Columbo, there's one more thing I forgot to say. Primarily, this feels like a show written by AI, from the character names to the weird and disjointed plots.
What's it like around here, buddy? Asked the chocolate box. Not bad, said the paint box.
It's like someone fed a load of colours and shapes into a computer, children's picture books, old episodes of Play School, and a load of nursery rhymes. And this is what tumbled out.
Your nose is slap bang in the middle of your face.
Could someone with more skill than me deepfake the Legs Akimbo Theatre Company onto their faces, please?
If our noses were stuck on the end of our feet, we'd have to walk upside down in the street.
One time, they even did a song about menstruating.
I'm sad to say she's on her way. The sky is grey, I'm all dismay, 'cause no one likes Aunt Jemima. Remember last time that she came to stay? She came at Easter, left on Christmas Day.
You should see your gyno about that.
Aunt Jemima does like a clean garden.
In my research, I turned up a recent Allsorts reboot, which had totally slipped me by. I'll directly quote from the wiki page. On 3rd of July 2021, CNCN revived Allsorts by new episodes and new music. Its new home is a room by a hotel. Planned with 3 series, it have 85 times 10-minute episodes. It is starring Marks (Kirby) and Unikitty. The look of Jiffy Bag is changed by CGI hot pink with green spiky hair. It is aired in 3rd of July to 25th of November 2021. Unikitty was played by Jane Horrocks, and the 85 episodes included such titles as Keys and Aliens, Pizza, Arboreal's Magic House, Ugly Bomb, There's an Earth Prodigy Pet in Your Lawn, Truckle's Goat Painting, Time Cake, and Fat Hot. Note that, even though it's referenced on the Allsorts IMDb too, this revival does not exist. This seems to be either trolling or an overzealous fan, or perhaps the AI's gone rogue, as the weird broken English is at least fitting to the actual show.
Oh dear, she's coming here. So do not cheer, I'm filled with fear.
Personally, I found the series pretty irritating and naff, though I'm aware that men in their 40s watching from decades in the future were probably not the target audience. Still, at least if you ever feel like you're running low on ideas, just remind yourselves Allsorts had a character who was a talking cardboard box, named Box.
Sometimes our noses are different, you see. What's for you may be ooh for me.